Hello, and welcome to Channel 6 News at 6. My name is Chris Stout. Today we will be talking about the serious issue of honeybee colony collapse disorder, or otherwise commonly known as HCCD. This has become a serious worldwide issue where the effects of HCCD have destroyed entire ecosystems. Without bees, humans would not have as many fruits and produce that we have come to love. While we have no definite answer to why HCCD is happening, if we don't figure out a cure to HCCD soon, the whole human population is at risk for not being able to eat nutritious produce that bees pollinate. The countdown is on to save our hot summer days sitting in a park eating fresh cold strawberries. Now to news correspondent Lauren Galloway with more on this developing story.
Thank you, Chris. Today I'm going to interview people on their opinion of HCCD and why they think it is happening. Hello, and here with us today is Robert Smith, a local beekeeper. So tell me, Mr. Smith, what do you think of HCCD?
Well, I think that HCCD is an awful disease that is caused by the overuse of pesticides and other dangerous chemicals that are killing bees and causing their whole colony to collapse. My bees are being put in danger just because people are spraying their lawns with chemicals.
Thanks for your time. Hello, Mr. Lamplight. Well, I know it is tough times for a farmer like you. What do you think of HCCD?
I'll tell you what I think about it. HCCD is the worst thing to come to this earth since the Dust Bowl. Since the bees are dying out, I have begun to lose crops due to lack of pollination. Without our friendly bees around to pollinate crops, we can see a day where produce is not available for humans to consume. I believe that HCCD is caused by a parasite of some type, because what else could it be?
Thank you for your time. Hello, Mrs. Hillstead. How do you feel about HCCD?
I'm absolutely terrified about HCCD. If the honeybees die out, then there would be not enough organisms to pollinate plants and other things that we rely on for food. Plants would begin to die out due to a lack of reproduction methods. This would be a huge blow to the produce industry and would feel the financial effects of increasing food prices everywhere. Produce would become more and more scarce, and before you know it, you might have to pay $10 for a piece of fruit that was genetically engineered in a lab.
Thank you very much for your time. I feel your pain. Hello, Mrs. Larson. I know that your life is busy being an average citizen, but I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of HCCD.
Sure, Lauren. I cannot turn this offer down. HCCD worries me a lot, and I think that the issue could very easily get out of hand. The government should step in and solve this problem because the issue is bigger than any war. Without food, we will die.
Thank you. Now back to Chris.
It seems that humans rely on honeybees for many important things. Now to Colby for a report on mutualism and parasitism.
Alright, well, mutualism, which is a state of association in which two beings gain from the association, affects both humans and bees because without bees, we lose access to a lot of our crops we take for granted, such as strawberries, watermelons, and oranges. The loss of crops could make for a very bland diet. Loss of fruits would also trigger a loss of vitamin C and potassium. The loss of vitamin C could cause scurvy in many unless we take vitamins for the sun loss of the vital vitamins. Without the crops, farmers would lose their money as well as their job. Soon, farmers would have to move to the city. Loss of bees would also cause many of the things we take for granted to die out, such as the flowers, causing the scenery to become what looks like a veritable wasteland. For people who don't understand what parasitism is, it is the association between two beings where one gains and the other suffers. Some people believe that the parasites are the cause for CCD, but are in fact not the true cause. While parasites might contribute to this disease, it is not in fact the main problem. Both pesticides and parasites have been ruled out of the equation of CCD destruction. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Colby. Now to Lauren for a report on food webs and the 10% rule.
In our food web, we have a producer, the sun, that gives energy to the flowers, grass, and strawberries. This gives off energy to the bees, butterflies, aphids, and grasshoppers. All of these things then feed off of the flowers, grass, and strawberries. The grasshoppers also feed off of the bees. The bees, grasshoppers, and butterflies then get eaten by birds. The aphids get eaten by ladybugs, and grasshoppers get eaten by bats. Bats then get eaten by osprey and humans. Then the ladybugs get eaten by foxes, who get eaten by wolves. The blue jay also gets eaten by the grasshoppers, and in return gets eaten by the fox. In the end, the humans are the highest predators, eating the strawberries and the honey the bees make. 10% rule. The producers get 100% of the energy from the sun. Primary consumers get 10% of the energy the producers contain. Secondary consumers receive 1% of the energy the primary consumers contain. Hereditary consumers receive 0.1% of the energy that secondary consumers contain. Now to Chris.
HCCD is a very big threat to our society. Now to Fisher for a rundown on HCCD.
CCD, or otherwise known as honeybee colony collapse disorder, which is where bees mysteriously have been disappearing. We think that this is being caused from malnutrition or pesticides. HCCD is becoming a huge problem that could cause food chains or food webs to collapse, which could end up making everything to die off and go extinct, including us. For instance, if all the hives get HCCD, that would mean no more flowers because they couldn't be pollinated. Then that would lead to no more fruits and vegetables. After that, it would lead up to meats because they wouldn't be able to get their hay, grasses, or any other foods. And finally, it would eventually lead up to the extinction of humans. Now back to Chris.
Thank you, Fisher. I hope by viewing this newscast you are enlightened on the subject of HCCD and food webs, among many other things. Be sure to keep writing letters to the government telling them to do something about HCCD, so one day the issue of HCCD will be a thing of the past. Thank you from everyone here at Channel 6 News, and have a great day.